Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is June the 10th. We have games in the WNBA for tomorrow, 4 of them. So I've actually broken down those. Wanted to get the show out a little bit earlier because I will not be able to do a show early in the morning like I typically have been able to do over the last few days. So we shall dive into the 4 games. As of right now, just recording, I'm actually doing this before NBA Finals game number 4 as well. I really want to enjoy the game tonight. So I'm recording this about 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. Lines have been out for a while. Injury report information is also out as well. So we're just going to jump right into it, man. Don't have a recap of any of the things that I bet for tonight. But I will say that Connecticut first half is looking really, really good. We talked about taking them plus the points against Toronto, 47-40 right now with about 3 minutes left before halftime. So Connecticut has a lead in that game. Doesn't really shock me at all. I did not get to that bet. And then Aaliyah Edwards, we talked about it on the show over her. I think it was 11.5 points. She already has 12 on 4 for 4 shooting. Just knew, once, Brittany Griner got rolled out, I actually forgot to even make the bet. But I was going to bet Aaliyah Edwards over. And then Lacan, I liked her over her 4.5 assists, and she has 3 with 3 minutes left in the second quarter. So far, so good. Let's see. Did I make a bet? I don't think I made a bet in the WNBA today. I think I just made the under bet on the Knicks team total and then the full game under 216.5. So wish me luck. By the time you're watching this, those plays will be already live or whatever. So we'll skip over Jackson. Yeah, sports betting tool. It's always linked in the description, but we will skip over that for time purposes and jump right into it for tomorrow. So we got Chicago, Indiana tomorrow. Chicago will be on the road in Indiana, laying 9.5. Looks like this total was at 172. I saw it as high as 172. Didn't bet it, but I really wish I would have bet it in that game. I think it's an under game, but let's jump into it. So Sophie Cunningham is listed as questionable tomorrow with an elbow injury. And then I saw Caitlin Clark. She's listed as probable. So a Chicago team that's really, really been struggling. In fact, they are just 1-7, both straight up and against the spread since they lost for Kia Jackson. And their only cover came against the Dream when Skylar Diggins hit that 3 with about 5 seconds left. They're minus 10.5 in point differential since Rakia Jackson got hurt as well. Back-to-back losses and travel for 6 straight games for the Chicago Sky team. And they've played back-to-back unders as well. So then on the Indiana side of things, first game back home for them off the short 2-game road trip in New York and in Washington. They failed to cover in both of those games. One is a dog, one is a favorite. And 2 of their last 3, they've actually failed to cover. 3 of their last 4, they've actually failed to cover. So Indiana has not been playing well. You can see that their net rating is a plus 3.6, where Chicago's net rating is a minus 6.3. I don't know how much the home court is going to mean for Indiana in this game. I'm not 100% sure like how much it's going to mean, honestly. They've also played in 3 straight unders. The Fever offense has not been gelling. You can see that they're 9th in offensive rating. This is supposed to be one of the most explosive offensive teams in the W. However, the Sky, you see them in 6th in defensive rating. I mean, that's what they're going to have to lean on in this game. This is the first matchup of the season. Indiana has owned the matchup against the Sky. They've won 6 in a row, covered 9 in a row against the Chicago Sky team. And this isn't, last year or 2 years ago, Chicago versus Indiana, where it was Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. Like Chicago is on a free fall. If I'm looking to make a bet in this game, I think it's an under bet. I do think it's an under bet. 172 was available on Caesars earlier. I didn't grab it, but right now it's 171 on most books and as low as 170.5. I think that's the right play. I kind of feel like the books are, as far as the side goes, I kind of feel like the books are making you want to take the Sky because Indiana hasn't won a game by 10 points. They've won 2 of their last 7 by 10 points. And it's not the best travel situation for them either, even though they do have the rest advantage in this spot. So Caitlin Clark coming off that game winning against Washington. I would not be laying the points for Indiana, but it wouldn't surprise me if they won and covered this spread as either. They just haven't. They got to get back to some kind of regression. It's ugly. Hold my nose and take this guy. I think if I had to play, but more so under is what I would bet in this game. From a player prop perspective, I do want to go over really quickly to Outlier. Was looking at a couple things. So the first one is actually on. Let's go here. Let's go. She's actually right at the top. Leah Boston. Leah has a really good matchup here tomorrow. So her points should be pretty good, 14.5. And her rebounds as well, 7.5. I think it's the number. Let me just double check. Yeah, 7.5. And it's minus 104. So it's not juiced at all. I actually think her double-double is in play as well. She's only gotten 2 so far this season, 2 of her 10 games. But I do and she's coming off one against the Mystics where, she was able to get a double-double in that game as well. So what I wrote in my notes is that, Aaliyah Boston gets about 42% of her points in the paint. Chicago is bottom 5 as far as points allowed in the restricted area this season. They also give up the most second chance points, the Chicago Sky's defense. And then as for the rebounding part of it all, you can see that, she's just been boarding. 7.5 is the number. We know that, the Chicago Sky, one of the worst rebounding teams in the WNBA. Actually, you can see here, they give up the most rebounds. She's cleared the 7.5 line in back-to-back games. Now she get a Chicago team, like I said, that's, the worst team in the last 5 games as far as like scoring wise. And they also allow, the most offensive rebounds, which isn't pictured here, but they allow a lot of offensive rebounds as well. And Aaliyah can go down there and grab a couple offensive boards. You can see that she has 2 in back-to-back games. So Aaliyah Boston plus 260 on FanDuel right now. A little sprinkle on a double-double, but her points plus rebounds, I think, is one of the best looks in this game. And maybe a look towards, a Caitlin Clark assist prop or something like that is what I'll be looking at in this game. I do expect it to kind of be played, fast. And that's what scares me off the under a little bit. I still think it goes under. But you can see that the Fever are first in pace on the right-hand side, and then the Chicago Sky is second in pace as well. All right, so that's that game. Lean under, didn't bet it. May still bet it, though, in Aaliyah Boston, her props in this game. All right, let's go to the next one, which is the New York Liberty and the Atlanta Dream. So line in this one, let's see where it is. It's at 3. Oh, actually moving to 4.5 on Bet365 on BetMGM, but 3.5. It looks like it actually opened with and kind of opened all over the place. DraftKings opened this at 1.5, and FanDuel did too. Caesars opened it at 3.5, and Bet365 opened it at 4.5. So a lot of discrepancy. Total was about 163, 164, and we've seen this fizzle out to about 3.5. It looks like on most books, and about 163.5 now. So total has come down just a tad bit. Injury report wise, I didn't see anybody on it in this game. Let's see if I'm gonna. Okay, Jacko Jones is off the report for the New York Liberty. She did miss the last game because of an illness with Connecticut, and then Sabrina is going to continue to be out for this New York Liberty team as well. And then the Dream didn't have anybody on the report outside of Brianna Jones. I'm not expecting her to play. She hasn't gonna make a return or her season debut yet. So the way I kind of think about this game is you look at the Liberty, they haven't been great, specifically on the road, just 1-3 ATS on the road so far. They beat Connecticut in their last game, but didn't cover. And they have won 5 straight, 5 in a row. And no real look ahead spot on deck. I forgot who they play next, but it's like that, maybe like the Mystics or something. And then on the Atlanta side of things, back home after the Chicago game where, they won but didn't cover. They're 4-1 straight up and against the number at home. So they've been really, really good at the crib. They've won 4 of the last 5 as well, and they've alternated over-unders in 6 straight games. So Atlanta is just kind of good offensive game, bad offensive game. I think they got to 100 the game before, and then they go to Chicago and can't score the basketball for whatever reason. So dating back to last season when the Libs, one thing I looked at was the Libs when they are road dogs. Dating back to last season, specifically in the regular season too, like I didn't want to include playoff stuff, just 1-7 straight up and 2-6 when they're getting points on the road. And if you look in that 8-game sample, they actually were in Atlanta twice, and they lost both of those games last year. So I kind of think, just the way that Atlanta playing, them having a home court advantage, Libs coming off, 5 straight wins now. I kind of think the Atlanta Dream get up for this game. And it could have been, part of the reason why they didn't cover in their last game and they, came out so lethargic in the first half in that last game. So I had a couple systems here on the Atlanta Dream. One of them is a 59% trend to that's over the course of 230 games. Also 59%, that same trend is 59% this season on a 17-game sample. And the trend gets stronger if I add that it's a home favorite laying 1 possession or less. It's actually 3-0 straight up and against the spread so far this season as well. And then the other trend was on the, not even the trend, more so just like the way I kind of think about the game when I was looking at kind of like matching these two teams up, under would be my recommendation. It's already coming down a little bit. The 164s and a halves are almost gone. Looks like one may be available on Bet365, Bet Rivers, if you have access to a book like that. But just hear me out. So both teams are actually top 3 in defensive rating, which you can see on the graphic here, 3rd and 2nd. Neither are in the top 5 in offensive rating. You can see that the Liberty are 8th and the Atlanta Dream are 7th. But also, neither one of them are playing fast. The New York Liberty are 8th, and this Atlanta Dream team is 12th. So neither one of these teams are great offensively. Both of them, neither one of them play extremely fast. I kind of think we see under here. New York also, just like matching the teams up, New York ranks in the bottom 5 as far as like points off turnovers, second chance points, fast break points, and points in the paint. You can see that all in number 4 on the New York Liberty side. So they're not getting a lot of easy points, right? And then on the opposite side, Atlanta guards the 3-point line really, really well, where they're actually 2nd in opponent 3-point makes, 3rd in opponent 3-point attempts. On the opposite side of the ball, Atlanta is top 5 in points off turnovers, second chance points, fast break points, and points in the paint. And you can also see that under the Atlanta graphic number 3. So they do a really good job of limiting their opponents in those specific areas at the Liberty typically get points from. So, Liberty don't even do a great job of getting points from. So I kind of think this game slows down. I think we see the defense. It's a Commissioner's Cup game as well. And I think under is the right play. Under 164 and a half, under 164, if you can get it, I think is the best play in this game. And I do think Atlanta, the bigger the line gets, the more I want to take the libs. But if you can get a -3, which I see it available on Caesars right now, I do think they did the right side on this game. Whew. All right. Hit the like if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you guys have not. Send the message, send the show link to the group chat, and let's keep going. So 2 more games to get through. Next one up is Phoenix and Dallas. Line open. I think this open right at 4.5 as well. Let's see. Yeah, open 4.5. Total was at 169.5, and it's up to 170.5 on most books. 169.5 available. One more book, and then the Dallas Wings are taking money up to 5.5 now. So this Phoenix team is still not really good, but they did play pretty well. So it was last night, or by the time you're watching this 2 nights ago, that they did cover against Golden State, which means they're 4-4 ATS on the road so far this season. It was in my opinion, it's another terrible spot for Phoenix in this game as well. This ends a 4-game road trip, but on top of that, they played 6 of their last 7 on the road as well. And then on the Dallas side of things, they played in back-to-back overs. First, they scored 100 points against the Sparks. And then, of course, on Monday night, they gave up 100 points to Minnesota. So, Dallas is a really good offensive team, not the greatest defensive team. 3rd in offensive rating. You can see that on the right-hand side. 9th in defensive rating. They're scoring the 5th most points and, giving up about 83 per game as well. This is the first meeting of the season. However, when I was looking through the last 10, crazy trend that I found is that both of these teams, when they play, the last 8 times they play, all 8 have actually gone over the number. So I told you guys that I like the Mercury and Dallas Wings. I mean, the Mercury and Golden State Valkyries game over the other day. And that was a winner. And a big part of it was the trend that I gave you guys, which is, I'm not going to get into all of the details, but typically when teams are playing this many road games in this small of a time frame and they're road dogs, they typically go over at a pretty high clip. I think it might have been 60%. This is the same trend that cashed for us the other night, and that's what I'm gonna be on in this game. Grabbing a 169.5, and I will be on the over. I think it's safe to play up to like 170.5, 171. That trend is also 3-0 to the over this season. It's 7-0 and in the last 7 times that it's been active, and it's cashed 10 of the last 11 times, dating back to 3 years ago, including today. Including this year is what I'm trying to say. From a player prop perspective, if I'm betting this one, I'm looking at a AT prop. Listen, Thomas, I think just kind of based on matchup, like I looked at Phoenix, their threes aren't quite falling yet. They're 12th in above the break 3 makes and 12th in 3-point percentage overall. Dallas gives up the most points in the paint on the season, and their bottom 3 in opponent paint field goal percentage. Should be a recipe for AT to have a lot of success. If you watched the game against Dallas the other day, then against Minnesota, you saw that, not that there's a lot of Olivia Miles in the league, but Phoenix should be able to dime. Like, Akoa Makani starting to find her rhythm a little bit as well. But the point I'm making is that Natasha Howard had a big game. I think she finished with 21 points. Dallas just really, really bleeds giving up points in the paint. So I kind of think with Alyssa Thomas missing one of the recent games that, the fatigue might not set in as much for her. And she has the best matchup in my opinion. She's coming off a 22-point game against Golden State. She gets more than half of her points in the restricted area. So if I'm betting on a player prop, it's probably Alyssa Thomas in this game from a player prop perspective. Over is my recommendation here, though. All right, last one is the Aces and the Portland Fire. This one is interesting to me. So you got to wait on the injury report. I haven't seen anything quite yet on Kennedy Carter, who's missed, I think the last 2 games. And then Dana Evans has been on the report. And I think Portland should be pretty much at full strength. They do have the rest advantage in this game. But starting with the Aces, they won 4 in a row. But the thing about the Aces is, and you can see that the numbers are actually starting to get better. 4th in offensive rating, 8th in defensive rating, 5th in net rating, scoring the second most points per game. Games are averaging about 175, and this total is about 173 and a half. Looks like it's coming down to 172 and a half. And it kind of makes sense. This should be 2 very contrasts as far as pace of play go. You can see Portland on the graphic on the right-hand side. They're actually the second slowest pace team, and their offense stinks. 11th in offensive rating, 13th in defensive rating. And they've come back down to earth a lot. Just 3-5 ATS at home. They've lost 3 straight unders. It's 3 straight games where they've been held under 80 points. I think 2 of the games, they didn't even get to 75. And this is the first matchup between these 2 teams in the history, because of course Portland is a new franchise. So my thought process on this game is over. That was my initial thought process. I kind of felt like Portland, I know they've gone under in back-to-back games, but I think just kind of trying to keep up with the Aces should help them. The Aces also got that big look-ahead spot coming up against the Lynx on Saturday. That game will be at home, Commissioner's Cup game. Both teams will be undefeated as long as the Aces don't, do anything crazy and lose this game. I don't think that they will, but I do expect a little bit of regression from Portland. Them having to break, the Aces coming off with 4 straight wins. I kind of think that we see the Aces, not their best defensive game in this spot here. So a couple different systems I had. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I had a few. One was a 58% system on the over 155 game sample, 4-2 to the over this season. And it's kind of based on the Aces' current win streak, them being on the road, facing an opponent on a current losing streak as well. And then I looked at a couple other ones. That was a 55% over system that said that the home dog is coming off a loss, facing an opponent that's coming off a win, going back to 2019, and they're getting a bunch of points. That's also an over trend. Then I got another one that was a 107 game sample, 62.5% to the over. And this was just a really good team coming off a game that they covered. Now they're big road favorites on the road. Says that they typically let up on the defensive end. And then I also looked at teams that are coming off back-to-back unders, home dogs, and they're getting a bunch of points. That's also 63% to the over. And that's a 52 game sample. So I like points in this game, but the total is dropping. 172.5 on a couple books now. So maybe it continues to drop, and then maybe I'll get in on the over, as it comes down a little bit. From a player prop perspective, I can't bring this up because our lines aren't quite active yet. But somebody on the Fire to be able, and here's the path for the Fire to be able to score the basketball. It's their 3-point shooting. They have to start knocking down some shots. And I don't know if we'll get Sarah Ashley Barker 3-point props right now. At the time of the recording is not available, but over the last 5 games, she's getting up about 5 per game. She's shooting 40% from the 3-point line. And for as good as the Aces defense has been, specifically recently, they're still bottom 5 in 3-point defense. Aces allowed the 4th most attempts overall from the 3-point line and the 2nd most above the break threes. So I think the look should be there for somebody like her, maybe a Bridget Carlton, maybe Meg Gustafson tries to bring probably Asia outside of the paint and, try to knock down some threes and spread the floor. But I'm looking for this Portland offense to I guess, have a little bit of regression and be able to knock down some shots. They haven't been the worst 3-point shooting team. You can see at the bottom, 6, 7, 8, 9 as far as above the break 3 attempts and makes and 3-point percentage overall. So they're not the worst team. But I know for sure that this Aces defense is not the greatest at the 3-point line. So looking at some kind of player prop for this Portland Fire team, maybe it's Carla Late. It could be her. Like somebody will be able to knock down some shots, but we'll see how it goes, man. Let's get into a quick recap. These were plays for today. That Connecticut 5 plus 4.5 in the first half did cash too. Let's see if Lacan can get to 5 assists. I didn't bet either one of them. I thought the game came on at 8. I was tripping, and it came on at 7. So I missed the whole first half. Haven't even watched it yet. But far as tomorrow goes, though, let's see. Going back to the top, Chicago and Indy under 171.5. Just don't think Chicago will be able to keep up. And Aaliyah Boston, her double-double, just a sprinkle, like don't go crazy, but plus 260 for Aaliyah Boston to get a double-double. I like that. I like that a lot. Her rebounds, of course, I think are absolutely in play. Her points are also in play, and I told you guys why at the top of the video. New York, Atlanta. I think Atlanta is the right side. You can get 3 right now, and I do think New York and Atlanta is also under. And the best number you can get right now is 164.5. Moving along, no player props in that game. Moving along, Phoenix and Dallas, I think is an over. $170.5. This number is already starting to move, and I am not happy about that. And then Alyssa Thomas over her 16.5 points. And Aces in Portland over 172.5 is the best number that we can currently get, but it's only available in it's available on 5 books. So, but we'll see if it continues to come down. I haven't bet anything yet, but these are the ways that I'm looking if I'm playing those games. And then again, like somebody on this, this Portland Fire team to hit a couple threes. That's the way that the game's going to go over in the first place. So that is the show, man, for June the 11th. Resources, they're linked in the description as they always are. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, OddsJam. Check these out if you guys are interested in, finding tools that can help you handicap WNBA, NBA, MLB, NFL seasons right around the corner, all that good stuff, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in as always. Y'all enjoy the day on Thursday, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.